Hi YouTube! Now we get to talk about the thing that I actually went to Japan for, school! I bet you're super excited, right? So here's the thing, at CSUF, for a full-time student, you need to take 12 units per semester, and that adds up to about 10 hours of class per week, at least it does for me. For the IP program, you need to take a total of 30 units for the whole academic year. Some people split that up into 15 and 15. I split it up into 14 and 16. For me, with classes, I'm usually taking between 12 and 14 units a semester in America. So for me, 15 or 16 units in Japan, I thought that wouldn't be much of a difference. But big surprise! Things are different in Japan, at least at Waseda, than they are in America. So I was very wrong about the difference in the amount of work I would be doing. At Waseda University, your basic study abroad student is required to take two types of classes. One are Japanese language classes in Japanese and other variable topics that can be anything from linguistics classes to theater classes to history or math classes, and those are taught to study abroad students in English. At Waseda, each semester you're supposed to take at least 6 units of the Japanese language classes and at least 8 units of the other classes. And altogether, that's going to be at least 15 hours of class per week. So 14 units and 15 hours of class per week is a big jump. As much as I enjoyed my classes in Japan, that first semester felt like it almost killed me. Because my first semester in Japan was my first time ever living in a dorm, living by myself. I had decided to take 6 units of Japanese language classes and 10 units of the other classes, so I was taking 16 units. That means I was taking 16.5 hours of instruction per week, which is like a huge jump from the 10 hours that I'm used to. Compared to America, there's not as much homework except for the one literature class I took, because that's a lot of reading. I had to do a lot more studying because I had tests and quizzes not every week, but almost every single class period. And that was in at least one class each semester. And combine that with the fact that I had a really crappy bed and an actual social life, it's no surprise that I didn't get enough sleep, and that ended up me getting sick. So why am I telling you this? Learn from my mistakes if you go abroad. Second semester, I was able to cut down on both the number of hours I was in class a week and the number of days I was in class a week. I did 6 units of Japanese classes again, and the minimum 8 requirement of the other classes, so altogether I would have the 30 units that was required for IP. And with the cut down on units, I was only taking 15 hours of instruction per week instead of 16.5. But what really saved me is the fact that I was only going to class 4 days a week instead of 6. Because I put far less emphasis on, ooh, that sounds interesting, I want to take that class, yay! And more emphasis on giving myself days off so I could actually get some sleep and relax a little bit and not feel like I was in overdrive the whole semester. So what happened was I actually had more hours of instruction per day, but that didn't really change the amount of time I had been at school each individual day. In fall semester, I had big long gaps, and I would often spend those gaps conversing in Japanese with my friends that I had made. For about a month and a half, I ended up having to go to school on one of the days that I was off anyway for a school project, but even with going to school for like 2 or 3 hours to work on that project with the group, I was still getting at least 2 days off each week. During that semester, I probably spent half of the days off going out and doing something and half the days off just sleeping, and I really needed that sleep. I also think that's why I enjoyed the part-time jobs that I talked about in the last video, because in spring semester I actually had time to focus and do things instead of just spending the whole 4 months on high alert of going crazy and trying to get all my work done and just not getting enough sleep. So when you go abroad, make sure you have at least 2 days off a week if you can manage it, because having only 1 day off is just it's not enough to get the rest you need. And school is important, but so is taking care of yourself. Sama-sama out.